Is everywhere you go, people excited by your face, Peter Capaldi? Is everyone like, the Doctor?
I think they're excited by Doctor Who's face.
Right.
My face is still the same old face that I've always had, except it's got a bit more lines on it, a bit more grey hair. But now they see me as Doctor Who, which is lovely, and that's what people shout at me from across the street. Doctor Who. Yeah, no one ever calls me the Doctor.
No.
Say, Doctor Who! They shout from a car, and I wave at them, and it's lovely. Yes.
Do you remember the day clearly when you were asked, when you got that call?
Oh, yeah. It was amazing. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing. My agent phoned me and said, how would you feel about being the new Doctor Who? And I just giggled because it was just such an absurd idea and such a wonderful idea. I sort of couldn't really believe that it was happening, but it was, and it did. But it was funny, the day when it was actually announced, it was all over the newspapers and stuff like that. And I remember going to buy. I thought, I'm not going to let this change my life.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like quite a big thing. I hadn't been on the covers of all the newspapers and been on the telly to that scale before. And I remember going to buy my newspaper, which I always buy from a bloke who stands in one of those little cubicles in the street. And my face was over every single on the cover of every single paper, and I bought my paper and went, there you are, Guff. And never even remarked about it at all. Yeah, it was great.
I love that. So has it changed dramatically your life since being on it?
Yeah. At first, it's a bit scary because you can't go anywhere without people peering at you. And but to be honest, people are so friendly and they are so pleased to see Doctor Who. Funnily enough, I was driven in this morning by a driver who was absolutely lovely, but actually came from Iran and said the show was really big.
Well, it's huge everywhere, isn't it? Really
we haven't been to Iran yet. Right. The show with the promotion. Well, we went to Mexico and they said that they told me the Doctor Who's been running there since the 60s. Wow. And they call it Doctor Mysterio.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Mysterio.
Doctor Mysterio.
So that's what they'd shout at you in the street in Mexico. Hey, Doctor Mysterio! Come and have a bandido!
So you're famous worldwide. This is actually a nightmare. Really? Because you're famous everywhere. Is there anywhere where people really hate Doctor Who that you can go on your holidays?
I don't know. What is great though is when people really don't care. And and you get to that slightly embarrassing thing when people are standing around and they'd like to do a selfie. Yeah. And you're never quite sure whether or not to say, do you want to do a selfie? Because when they say no, it's the most embarrassing thing in the world. Yeah.
I like it. Someone said to me the other day, they said, can I take a picture? And I said, yeah, of course. And then she was with a friend and she said, Gemma, do you want one? And Gemma went, nah. Just lie, Gemma. How fun is it? Are you still enjoying it? You're still loving it?
Yeah, well, I mean, you wake up in the morning and you think, I'm going to go in there and blow up some Daleks. Yeah. Or see some guys dressed up in rubber monster costumes and run up and down a corridor, usually with Jenna. And it's just a gas.
We had Jenna Coleman on when was Jenna on? About a month ago? Something like that? A couple of weeks ago? And we had her in. And she was also, she told the world for the first time that she was leaving when she was in here. Yeah. Has that all been done now? Have we filmed Jenna's departure?
Yeah.
How was that? How was it saying goodbye to her? Because she's really a lot of fun, isn't she?
No, she's great fun. She's just wonderful to work with, and I've had a great time with her. And I don't usually get very weepy or anything when I'm working, but I find it really sad.
Oh, really?
To say goodbye to her, because I still see her. So it's not like saying goodbye to Jenna in person. Yeah. But you sort of say goodbye to the character. Mm-hmm. And it becomes the kind of focus of all of your emotion and all of the things that you perhaps would like to say to that person and how wonderful she's been to me and to actually be parting. It was, and she was fabulous in the scene. I don't want to go into what.
Can we talk about the scene or not really?
Not really, because it's very clever what happens in it, but it's very sad. Oh, it's really sad.
Oh, God, Peter. Oh, my God,
really
what's going to happen?
When you think what's going to happen is going to happen, and then something else happens. And that's what's wonderful about Doctor Who. It's always clever the way that these things are done. It's not quite as straightforward as it appears. So we'll get lots of hankies ready. That's what I would say.
Oh, God, I can't wait to see that then.
And it's sad over a number of weeks.
Right. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm really intrigued now as to what's going to happen. Right, we've got to talk about Maisie Williams because she's a really good friend of ours on the show.
Yeah.
And we get her on quite a lot and we love having her on and she loves Radio 1 and we love her.
Yeah.
It's a great relationship we've got going on. Now, she phoned in to tell us that she'd be starring in this series with you. We'd love it if she was in the series all the time.
Yeah.
Do you think that she'd be up for making a comeback? Would you have her back on?
No.
No.
She's so unbearable.
Yeah.
I mean, to have her, I can't work with her.
Yeah.
I mean, she makes me feel ancient. She's very dreary. She's no fun whatsoever. She never says anything funny. She's not light-hearted. And she just goes on about Game of Thrones all the time, which drives me crazy because I can't stand it. No, I love her. I think she's absolutely amazing. And to have her around, she's just such a laugh, isn't she?
She really is. She's so
incredible.
fun.
I know. She keeps teaching me new words, you see, because she thinks I'm like a really ancient old guy.
Right.
So, well, in fact, I am. And I literally can't understand what she says most of the time. But she teaches me things like ape. She tells me that ape is the word that young people to describe. Excellent.
That's ape.
That's ape. That's what she says.
Well, I've never even heard that. Have you, Fee?
No, well, you're not
we're
down with the
old.
kids. I'm
We're
down
not-
with the
yeah.
kids.
Yeah,
Because I go back with her and say, hey, well, that's really mustard, meaning that's red hot. That's an old-fashioned one.
I love her. I would love her to be on Doctor Who all the time.
She's in it more than she says. Yeah.
Also, a forthcoming episode features Just You.
Forthcoming episode.
Just You.
Yeah.
Just You, Peter. It's called a one-hander in the business.
A one-hander in the business.
I never knew
very
that.
theatrical.
It's a one-hander.
Fantastic.
We learned that yesterday.
You're heading to the RSC.
How was that? Is that a lot of pressure? It's Just You in the episode?
A one-hander?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find a one-hander tough?
A one-hander can be quite tough.
Yeah.
It's but quite pleasurable in its own way. Yeah, but it's the lovely thing is you get to because it's just you probably work much more closely with the rest of the crew. I mean, we have a famously fantastic crew on Doctor Who in Cardiff, and to spend every day working with them. But no, it's great. I mean, it's a really strange episode. It's quite I really sort of don't want to give it away, and I feel as if I say anything about it at all, it'll just
give it away. Yeah, and people go crazy if we
they go crazy
give
if you
things
give
away.
it
We can't give
away.
things away. What is like the one day when you've been at work where maybe you've been like, I don't know, wrestling with an alien or being chased by like some weird blob? Has there been a moment where you're like, what the hell am I doing today?
Well, there was one moment where, I mean, one of the great things about Doctor Who is it's always, the show looks very handsome and all of that, and they put a lot of money into it. But sometimes its ambition kind of overreaches its grasp. Sometimes it doesn't quite have enough money. In fact, I quite like the bits when you can see the cracks and the set holding it together. But I once had to fight a giant spider, and they brought the giant spider in, and they just threw it at me. And I said, well, isn't there a guy who works it? Isn't it connected up with wires? Isn't there sort of legs that move? They said, no.
No, that's
they
it.
said,
Paper
you just
mache.
fight it.
Yeah, just
so they
deal
just
with
threw
it.
this giant rubber spider at me, and I just had to go,
Great acting, that, Peter.
Well, I thought, I've been practicing that for years.